Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are playing Witchwood, and when we left off we got all the ingredients that we needed to create this sacrifice. So let's go ahead and craft it. If you need help on how to make the sacrifice, of course, go check out my other channel. Let's go ahead and place our sacrifice right there, which is going to trigger this drake to eat it. Amazing. And then we'll use our shears and we're going to snack all, we only got one? All of that? Dozing like a happy pup. I'll leave him to it. Yeah, we only got one thing out of that, but I mean, we only needed one, but still. Now that we have everything, let's go ahead back to the leech, which is in the sick house in the swamp down here in the very, very bottom. Now that we are here back at the sick house, let's go in through the sick house door. And let's talk to him. The shadowy doctor prowls amongst the cots, eyeing the weakest patients with a dark hunger. She snaps a quivering tentacle at you as you approach. Not a step closer. Who knows what sorts of disgusting maladies you might be carrying. Yes, I'm a pox-ridden wretch. I know, but I need a death certificate from you. Specifically of the short-bearded man we spoke about. His wife is in no condition to roll her chair through the swamp, so she's asked me to collect it for her. I don't simply give out death certificates to anyone claiming to be someone's aunt, grandmother, or friend. This is a legitimate operation. She turns her back to you and rummages through a nearby medicinal closet. Now, where has that serum got to? Don't tell me we're already out. What's the matter? Out of stock? It's a shame you don't have the time to go out yourself. She tenses at your continued presence. What are you getting at? Medicine for that death certificate. I think that's a fair trade, don't you? You would barter when people's lives are on the line? Exclaims the leech. Fine, you'll have your paperwork, you filthy degenerate. Clearly too angry to speak with you, she shoves a list of required medicinal supplies into your hands. So we have the dragonflies already. We also already have the skeeter snoot. The leech inspects the barbs before placing each of them carefully into a velvet-lined container alongside other excruciating-looking instruments. Clearly too angry to speak with you, she shoves a list of required medicinal supplies into your hands. So we only need 3 mending poultices. Let's see if we have the stuff to craft it. We do. So mending poultice is one of the first craftables that we gather. You'll need forest herbs, which are just on the ground, as well as hag shrooms, which are found in the swamp, and also the forest as well. They're just like red-capped mushrooms. So we'll go ahead and craft 3 of those and hand them to the leech. The leech stuffs the poultice into an unsanitary-looking cabinet without a second glance. I've run your errands, now I really must insist on that death certificate. There's no need to get prickly. I have your papers right here. The leech extends her moist arm and thrusts a poorly written note into your hands. You shake the mucus from the paper and try to decipher the loopy, illegible scribbles. You're not even sure that the leech spelled the poor man's name right, but you suppose it's better than nothing. Faugh, next time I need a doctor's note, I'm better off forging the signature myself, says the witch. You crumple the note into a tight roll for safekeeping, and that's it. That's everything we need. So let's head back to the obelisk. Also, before we head out, though, I don't think I've gotten this chest before. Can I get this chest? No, we can't. Okay. Now that we are here at the obelisk, let's go ahead and turn in everything that we need. Everything that we've crafted, including the apothecary liquids. The fluid slowly disappears as if being drained by some unseen thirst, until only the wet residue remains. This one needs a necromantic charm. You place the token of undeath into the basin. It flutters like a candle for a moment before the shadowy umbra of the obelisk snuffs it out. The Northern Obelisk calls for proof of the dead. The afterlife is nothing if not bureaucratic. A death certificate from the leech would fit the bill. So let's go ahead and turn in our death certificate. The humid swamp air has made the paper of the death certificate soft and damp. As you drop it into the bowl, it decomposes before your eyes until nothing is left. And finally, the Eastern Obelisk yearns for the tooth of a dragon. You haven't seen any real dragons in years, but who knows what's out in the swamp. So we'll go ahead and turn in our Drake Fang. You drop the sharp reptilian fang into the stone basin with a heavy clunk. It spins like a top, emitting a high-pitched whine before shattering into a fine white dust. With the final offering accepted, the obelisk surrounds the circle, begin to hum. You can hear a strange melody playing through their disordinate tones. The carvings on the ground burn with renewed energy, driving away the overgrowth. You're quick to step away as you feel a vacuous force pull at the circle's center. I suppose that's done the trick, says the witch. Let's see what the writing has to say for itself now. You rotate your head to read the glowing letters on the edge of the circle. Place the vessel of the deceased, yada yada. Recite the evocation of necrodermis, blah blah blah. Apply the canopic ointment. Right, seems straightforward enough. All I need to do now is go fetch the body of that poor fool husband. He should be here in the swamp somewhere. Alright, so now we have to search the swamp for a body. I think if we were, like, because we've been around here a lot, right? And we can't really get to, like, any place in particular that has bodies. Like, there's these weird mummified stuff everywhere. But I think it's most likely going to be here with the embalming salts, right? Ugh, this must be where that nurse has been dumping the surplus of corpses. I'll need to take a closer look at each one to find the right fellow. Of course we're going to collect some embalming salts. This isn't it, unfortunate nonetheless. Similar, perhaps, but not the right body. This isn't the right one. Not the husband, this one. This poor soul doesn't fit the description. What about this one? Not this one. Where on earth is that stinking body? You'd think I'd be able to find him among the dead here. You watch a particularly bloated fly land on a rotting hand poking out of the muck. Its disgusting proboscis probes at the withered flesh. Two globular red eyes slowly unglue themselves and swivel to boggle at the insect. A huge slime-covered tongue lashes out and pulls the hapless fly into a gaping, toothless maw, along with most of the sunken corpse. Well, I suppose that explains where my misplaced man went. So, let's talk to the Frog King. That is a huge frog guy, that's for sure. He's huge! Croak, can it be? Has a lovely young morsel wandered its way into my palace? You call this filthy bog a palace? Asks the witch. The Frog King throws his head back, shaking the swamp with burbling laughter. Smaller frogs and newts scurry out of the way to avoid being crushed by his enormous bulk. Har har har! Wouldn't you? This place is a veritable bounty of insects, and my subjects have such healthy appetites, so they will all grow big and strong. I'd eat you too, but that head of yours looks much too hard. I prefer my food, burp, to be nice and tender. Look, you wouldn't perchance have seen an old man pass through here, have you? Asks the witch. About yay-high, full beard, deadish. The frog taps his fingers against a log, grinning an impossibly large grin. Oh, yes, I do believe I've seen the chap, says the Frog King. He had such a delectable aroma and a fall off the bone ribs. But I'm sorry to say that once something goes down the hatch, it never sees the light of day again. We'll see about that, says the witch. I'm sure I can come up with some just desserts for you. The frog rolls his eyes around and around as if daring you to try something. Okay, so we need to give him some digestible tablets. So let's check out the recipe for that. We already have everything. Amazing. This is going swimmingly. We have snail shells, which we can collect from the snails around the swamp. Eye of newt. So the newts, I believe, are hidden in the logs that you can chop up with the axe. And then you have to craft a bait stick to bait out the newt. And then once they eat it, then they pop and you get a bunch of newt eyes. You get 2 per newt, obviously. And the last thing we need is goblin snot, which you can get in the forest by attacking the goblins. And I do believe the dreadful doll is what we crafted for our first kind of story mode encounter. And that's how we got the goblin snot, by knocking out all the goblins with the dreadful doll. So now that we have everything, let's go ahead and craft these digestive tablets and give them to the frog right away. The frog rolls his eyes around and around as if daring you to try something. So let's give him those. You wrap a juicy looking grub around the medicinal tablets and offer it up to the Frog King. Your Majesty, I really must find the whereabouts of that gentleman. Perhaps this small tribute will persuade you to loosen your tongue, says the witch. The frog gulps down the tantalizing meal without a thought. A delectable gift. Thank you, my pretty. Now, I already told you where... His nostrils flare for a moment, then he sneezes, sending specks of wet mucus flying. The frog's throat suddenly expands, filling with gas. The belch that erupts from its lips resonates so loudly the entire swamp ceases its buzzing. You avert your eyes, but the noise and smell of the frog's explosive eruption almost knocks you off your feet. Disgusting. So gross. Great Glinda's ghost, exclaims the witch. What a stench. The frog wobbles on its legs, looking thoroughly emptied. He teeters before rolling his huge body back into the swamp with a thunderous splash. You spot the slippery body of the husband floating in the bog water. Luckily, he seems to be missing some bits and pieces, so he should fold up quite nicely. Oh no! Let's go ahead and stuff him in our satchel. Oh no. This is so gross, I'll be honest. Like, I like the dark humor, the dark vibe of these kind of games, but the descriptor words in this game are just, they're too much sometimes. They're knocking it out of the park, don't get me wrong. It's great, but gosh, that was nasty. The Circle of Power is ready and waiting for its necromantic purposes, so let's go ahead and deliver the corpse. With considerable effort, you unfold the husband's decaying body from your satchel and slap it down into the middle of the circle. Invisible shackles wrap around the corpse's limbs and pull its spread eagle against the ground. Strange mist rises from the obelisks, casting everything in a sickening green light. Slowly, but surely, the corpse begins to levitate off the ground. It rotates to face each obelisk, one by one. Oh, get on with it. I haven't got all day, says the witch. You give the rotting head a good kick as it passes by you. With a gasp of stale air, the body drops to the ground. Suddenly, it bolts upright. Gah! Oh my gosh. Now it wants us to speak to the zombie husband. But I am going to go ahead and leave this part here. Oh god, we're going to get attacked by a mosquito. Thank you so much for joining me on this Let's Play series. I'm having a blast and I hope you're enjoying it as well. As always, check out the description. It has a link to all my social media, including my TikTok and my sticker shop. But if you'd like to stay here on YouTube, I'd really appreciate it. All you have to do is like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to my channel. All of that helps the YouTube algorithm get my content in front of more people's faces. So until I see you guys again, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.